If you're watching this video, you must be interested in tutoring for your student. I can understand the frustration for parents and students who have to contend with choosing between having the student going to a classroom, learning online at home, or using a hybrid approach. Once you choose a method, it might change during the course of the school year. However, regardless of the method you choose, online tutoring can help the student. I was told recently that online tutoring is really hard. This is far from the truth. I hope this video will show you how easy it is. Much easier than using Schoology and other tools that the school district might be providing. Online tutoring has some unique advantages. There is no travel time to and from the tutor, thus saving transportation costs and time. There is no dress code. You can be tutored in your jammies if you like. There are no passwords or complicated procedures required to start the tutor session. And finally, tutoring times are very flexible. I would say that online tutoring is about 95% effective as one-on-one in-person tutoring. The student can have a good interactive conversation with the tutor during the session that cannot be obtained with either online learning or even in-class instruction. In the past, I've tutored students primarily from the Lake Travis High School, but online tutoring can help students from any school district, any high school, or any city. It doesn't matter where you're located, online tutoring works great. The math subjects I tutored are Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, Pre-Cal, and Calculus. I also tutor Chemistry and Physics. The only equipment you need for inline tutoring is a good computer with a webcam and microphone. The large monitor works best, but an iPad or other tablet will work also. Trying to use a cell phone is not recommended. I'm now going to show some video examples that are typical during a tutoring session. These will include logging on to the tutoring session, what the student sees, and screen sharing from the student to the tutor. Let me show you how easy it is to start a tutoring session using Zoom. All you have to do is go to my website, lakewaytutor.com, using the internet, and click on the top line of my opening web page. Let me show you. This is an example of what my web page looks like. Once it opens, all you have to do is to click this line right here where it says click here to start the tutoring session. That's all you have to do. No passwords are required. It might be a good idea to put an icon on your home page, on your desktop, that points to my web page, so the next time you come for tutoring, all you have to do is to click that icon and you'll be logged in immediately with no passwords required. Okay? During a tutor session, you might wonder, what does the student see? Can he see what I'm doing? Can he understand what I'm talking about while I'm using my paper pad, my pens and pencils? Here's an example where I'm showing a kind of a real quick, brief lesson on factoring quadratic expressions. How do we solve a quadratic expression? Or put another way, how do we factor a quadratic expression? Let's assume we start with a quadratic expression like x squared plus 5x plus 6. And we want to factor that. First, let's understand, where do we get this expression? Usually, or quite often, it's a product of two binomials. For example, if we multiply x plus 2 times x plus 3, what do we get? We get x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6, which equals x squared plus 5x plus 6. You get this by using the FOIL approach that you've learned previously. So when we factor, what we're doing is we're going to go from the quadratic expression back to the two binomial terms that make up this quadratic expression. So the question is, how do you go about doing that? Well, let's look at it for just a minute and see what's going on. You'll notice that if the first term of this is x squared, then you know that the first two terms of the factors have to be x's. If the last term is 6, then you know that the product of the 2 and the 3 has to be 6. And if the middle term is 5, then you know that the 2 plus 3 equals 5. Now, some teachers use this big X approach. What they'll do is they'll put the 6 up here and the 5 here. And you ask yourself, what two numbers would you put in here and here that you multiply together and get 6, you add together and you get 5? And the answer is, of course, 2 and 3. So now that you have these two numbers, you can write out the factors of this quadratic expression. Now, this is one way of factoring a quadratic expression, and it works whenever the coefficients of your expression are fairly simple, integers like this. Also, there's a rule that says the factors, the roots have to be real. Now, there are other ways to do this, and actually there's 4 ways. The first way is factoring, which we just did. Another way is graphing. Another way is called completing the square. And the last method is called the quadratic formula. We just did the factoring approach, and this works for fairly simple expressions. Graphing will work, but it's more messy because you have to get out graph paper or get your calculator out and do it. Completing the square and quadratic formula will solve any of these expressions, no matter whether these terms are integers or whether or not are not. Also, this coefficient up here doesn't have to be a 1. But we'll talk about these other methods in the later lesson, okay? I have a few final comments. I do not require any contracts. I also do not require any sort of pre-evaluation test of the student. I use a no-nonsense approach to tutoring. You come to me with a question, and I'll help you with the answer. Contact me for help, and you will get it. I will request a phone number and email from the responsible party and student. That's all, simple. I charge $50 per hour for tutoring. The hour can be scheduled on a fixed time weekly basis, or tutoring can be done on an as-needed basis. I work from home and can tutor almost any time of the day. If the student is normally having tutoring for an hour each week, the student can also have additional impromptu session at any time by just calling, texting, or emailing me. There is no additional charge above the $50 per week. Payment can be made in one of 2 ways. If you want to use a credit card, then go to my website and push the Pay Now link and follow the instructions as to how to pay with your credit card using PayPal. Another way is to write and mail me a check payable to the Lake Travis Crisis Ministries. This will make the payment tax deductible. I hope you found this video helpful in answering some of your questions. If you have further questions, please contact me by phone, text, or email. My contact information is on my website. I can also give you a demonstration at any time as to how this tutoring works. Just call me, let me know you'd like to sign in and we'll have a little impromptu session and I can show you how it works. It's real easy to do. Okay? Goodbye, and I hope to see you soon.